So as I explained to Ross, when you're starting the TRT method in the very beginning on these sort of breeds, it's very important that you give them the feeling that they have good balance, good stability, and when they feel that balance and stability and confidence in the body, you can pretty much get the one tempies, the piaffe passage, and all the major grand free movements on them in about a week or two. Hey, young man? We're here in Cornwall. As you can see, the Cornish are a lot tougher than the Australians. I'm nice. Here with the famous Ross Withers, pretty much the greatest cattle farmer in all of Cornwall, producing some of the finest beef on the planet. Also head managing director of Kerno Hog Roasts. So thanks for being here, Ross.
No problem.
It's an absolute privilege. I'm totally pumped.
Privilege is all mine.
We had a feed last night. It was just like heavenly. It's like no other. Like no other. I've got the very important red book here. We're going to get into some questions. So Ross, in his perfect English accent, is going to give the proper pronunciation of a few questions. Then we're going to get fired away and try and give some intelligent answers. Who we got here?
Right, we got Sarah Pickford. Hi, I have a horse who loads absolutely fine, travels fine. Yet, when stationary in a box, will not wait more than a moment before he starts rearing up at the windows and getting very anxious. She has spent a lot of time over the past 2 years trying to improve this situation, but nothing has improved. Oh, crikey, dropped it. What she wants to know is, how can your TRT help the...
If it can help.
If it can help with the travelling to shows not being quite so stressful.
The answer to that question is yes. TRT can help. No, it's quite a good question. Of course, what's very important is, as you see on the TRT videos and the bonus video on trailer loading, it's very important the whole process about the loading, because when a horse is not knowing the total environment and the steps of how he got there from the beginning of the round to the start of the chest bar, of course he's not totally comfortable about all those steps, and he's not taking full responsibility himself to put himself there. And when he's not taking full responsibility to put himself there, of course you get all kinds of patient issues in travel or while you're standing still, because there is still some anxiety left in the horse in the process of loading him. So through the full bonus video on TRT method, you see the full breakdown and how to get your horse totally comfortable and taking ownership of his being comfortable and being in control of his body in the whole loading process, and which of course makes them comfortable in travel and being patient when you arrive at a show or standing still. And I'd say you would probably have the same thing with your cows, Russ, winning all these kind of amazing accolades here for showing the top prize cattle. Travelling is also, of course, in your case. So what I forgot to mention actually is pretty much there is kind of the voice of horse whisperers on the planet. We all know there's no real magic in horses only training, but there are real cow whisperers on this planet. So you'd have probably a similar, wouldn't you, with the cattle? Like, or do you just go get up your bugger and they go on?
No, it's nothing that can't be overcome with the amount of times that the animal goes onto the lorry. I made a mistake several years ago with homebred cattle. You know, when you buy cattle in, they're travelled around a lot and they get used to, and they're nice and calm when they do eventually go on a lorry. But a few years ago I had some homebred cattle, had them trained, lovely, walking, quiet as babies, and got to show day, went to put them on the lorry, and I was like, they've never been on a lorry before. And yeah, there was. Yeah,
so there's absolutely that's absolutely a lesson in itself, because I also say
repetitive.
Yeah, and also to the people, when you're loading the horses, the same thing. When you're going to go to a show, there's no time, and then everybody's already rushing and in a panic.
Yeah, shouting, voices are different.
Yeah, and if you
pick up on it,
and if you leave it to the day where you should have been at the show an hour ago, you think, just bloody get on. We should have been there an hour ago. Yeah. That's the worst time. And I always say, put in the training first, so that you're
and also it's like when they won't do what you want, you then might give them a little smack on that, and then that puts tension into them and upsets them. Same as probably in horses.
And the whole day's gone to shit.
Yes.
Righto. Let's see if we can get another question fire away.
I'll try. Melissa Street.
She a friend of yours?
Yeah, she is very good friend, actually.
Should be an intelligent question.
Yeah, it'd be a very intelligent question. This is just whether I can read it out properly.
All right. I'll leave you to your best English.
It's in Dutch, so I'm trying to translate it in my Cornish head.
There'll be a delay on this one.
Yeah. Her issue is with kicking out. Most of the time, it's not a huge issue. She may kick a couple of times during a warm-up, then she's done and they can get about their work. But other times, such as this past weekend at a show, it's an issue that we cannot get over. She's had her checked out with a vet and treated for ulcers, possible reproductive issues, lameness, exam, etc. So what she wants to know is, can your method help with these types of issues?
Answer again.
Yes?
Is yes.
Surprise, surprise!
So it is, I always say, if a horse is giving a wrong reaction, it's just because he doesn't know how to give the right response just yet. And of course, it's good that you've gone through first the issues with the ulcers and possible medical possibilities, because of course, if you're trying to educate the horse to be able to respond to your aids in the right way, and there's something physical that's bothering him, then it's going to be difficult to get past that. The setup of the TRT method in the beginning, the first groundwork patterns, is very much about teaching the horse the meaning of the aids, so he understands the when, how and why he should move. And of course, if you get into a situation where you're at a show and your horse has a little bit of anxiety and there's a little bit of tension there, it may not be fear, but just a little bit of tightness in the body, tightness in the skin. If the meaning of your aids is only pressure, if you don't have a detailed meaning of the when, how and why you should respond, anything that you do is adding to a bit that anxiety. So it's a very good question, because it's really common, but it's also something that you really have to deal with in detail for the horse to be able to understand that when you're in a situation and there is excitement and tension, that your aids are really helping in that scenario and not adding to the pressure of the situation, where after a while the horse is just saying, get the hell off me, I'm dealing with enough here. So absolutely, going through the first few patterns will, if not the first pattern, will pretty much solve your problems. So you probably get a few cow kickers in the in the pen too.
Yeah, just don't like to be touched in certain places. They're like women.
So if you're touching them with a long stick from
yeah, that helps. My wife doesn't like the long stick though, that's the trouble.
So they take it off you and hit your back.
Yeah.
So as far as if you get what's the sort of steps you take? If you get one that's you've got to take it to a show, and you've got to obviously, it's very important. I saw from earlier that the cow is standing square and in the right position.
Yeah, leg in each corner. Yeah.
And so if you've got one that's really kicky, how do you overcome a little bit those problems to get them?
You basically just tell everyone to keep the hell out of the way, really.
This one kicks.
Yeah, that's basically what I say when I walk in the ring. Because unfortunately, with some cattle, they'll allow you to touch their feet with the sticks, and I mean, some will kick if you get it wrong and hurt them. They're going to kick out. But most of the time, they get used to it. It's repetitive.
Yeah,
is the only way to get used to it. But some just won't tolerate it, and you've just got to start on the back and go down the back of the leg, and then work down the back of the shin, and then as you come around the front, you might just get a touch here and there, but the kick could come in.
And you find that also in different breeds. Like you get some breeds that are totally placid, and other breeds that all the way down the line, daughters of granddaughters, they all seem to have a bit the same.
They all carry a trait, whether it's a nasty streak and stuff like that, which is what we're all trying, bad feet, nasty traits and stuff like this, what we try to eliminate.
Yeah.
They go in the killing pen, and the nice quiet ones that don't kick and breed nice cattle go in the breeding pen.
So is that a big part of your breeding program then? Because we have that also a little bit in the stallions, that character is meant to be a big part of the stallion being approved. But sometimes, you have a horse that's got spectacular movement, and they'll kind of look past the rideability or the trainability, the character of the horse because of the spectacular movement. Will you also have that in cattle? If you've got a cow with just an extremely good body and good conformation, but is a bit of a nut, is that is that dependent on the individual breeder?
All the semen. No, it's not the breeder. I think it's just bloodlines that carry certain things, or genetics, whichever one you call it. Everything is done out of a number. So docility is the main one everyone wants, because no one wants to get hurt.
Yeah.
Easy calving, meat to bone, growth rates.
Oh, calving.
Easy calving is a big one, especially when you've got blue cows and stuff like that. You want a very easy calving bull, because you don't need vet spills all the time.
Yeah.
So,
And of course,
it is. And
easier for the cattle.
I've done it myself. I use certain bulls with the cows. The calves are all nutcases.
Yeah.
You don't use the bull. No matter how good the calves are, you don't use them again.
So that's interesting. You would choose character over type, over conformation.
Yeah. Because with the right cow, you can put the conformation there anyway.
Yeah.
So most of the time.
It's very interesting, because I have also the same philosophy. It doesn't matter if you've got the best moving horse in the world. If you can't ride him, if he doesn't have the disposition to want to learn.
If I can't put a halter on it and feel safe at the end of it, and feel safe loading it and taking it to a show and not killing everyone, you don't want to be the fool.
No, that's exactly right.
Because everyone will go, look at him.
Yeah.
I think they say that anyway occasionally.
He's that mad cow.
He's got BSE.
The mad cowman.
Yeah, definitely.
Righto. I think we've probably got time for one more.
Well, we have got time for one more. We're going to have to make time for this one, because I want to hear you answer it.
All right.
I don't know.
Serious one.
I don't know what this fourth word is. This is from Nancy Miranda. I own a Percheron. Percheron.
Yeah.
Draft mule.
A Percheron draft mule. There you go.
This is why this one came to my eye.
A Percheron draft mule.
That she would like to do dressage with.
I've handled each one of those breeds individually.
Yeah.
But not as a mix.
No?
I'd be interested to see a photo of that one.
Have you any experience working with mules? Well, you've just answered that question. He is a 7-year-old John that has been trail ridden for many hours, and now I would like to dressage with him. Your method intrigues me, as I am older. She is 60 this year, and she also does not want to get hurt, so having control of his feet is very important. Looking forward to your response. Best regards.
There's always
Nancy.
And
I've got a few donkeys, so I'm going to listen to this one.
You say you've heard it all, but sometimes you realise you haven't.
No.
Of course, what's very important with the character of a mule is you have to be clever enough as a trainer that, the technique and getting control of the feet and doing things with them is totally irrelevant next to the mindset. If a mule decides he doesn't want to do something, he's not going to do it. So what's very important is the way you ask, and that you are asking and not telling, and that you are smart enough through the steps to create a mindset that he thinks that it's his idea. So the smarter you can be about the way you ask and letting him think that it's his idea to perform something, a mule can be just as willing, have more endurance, and go further and do more for you if he feels that what he's doing is, one, his idea, and that he feels he can continue doing it at his own pace, in his own way, how he likes it a bit. So I probably wouldn't look forward to creating the most extravagant Grand Prix test on such a horse.
Why not?
But of course, if that's not your purpose, and you know, having fun with it,
laugh.
Yeah, also educating, as long as they have 4 legs, you know, and you enjoy doing the training. But of course, your number one worker in the stable is on a similar breed, old Seamus.
Oh yes, yes. He's my hardest worker on the farm. Without a doubt, he's my hardest worker.
So Mr. Withers here has Seamus. He is a purebred, stunning donkey. And what's Seamus's job on the farm?
He holds and breaks cattle for me.
Right.
Because he is so stubborn, and he will not do whatever the bullock asks the donkey to do. If the bullock wants to go right, he will go left, and vice versa. And if he doesn't do, when the donkey decides which way he wants to go, and the bullock decides he's not going to do it, he ends up with both back feet in his guts, or a bitten face, or a bitten ear. I mean, we gotta put crash helmets on the cattle sometimes, especially if they're black.
So he's from the old school. He's
he is. He's very old school
to.
because he's not keen on black cattle at all. He's got a real prejudice against them.
So that goes very much into the realm of what I was just talking about. If they don't think it's a good idea,
they're not going to do it.
It's not their idea.
No,
yeah.
no.
Very good. So we know now. TRT method also deals with Percheron.
Should we get the donkey out?
we could see if he can do the first few patterns. Maybe
yeah,
we can see.
Yeah, he'll draw some patterns.
Yeah. So we know now TRT also does mules, and if not, you have to come all the way to Truro, Cornwall for Mr. Ross Withers to sort it out for you. Thanks very much, mate.
No problem.
It was great fun.
And you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
See you next time. There you go. That's how you do it.